Cain, what's up, Big Daddy Cain? What's happening, man?
What's going on, man? You doing good?
I'm doing good. How are you doing? Got to feel pretty good in that building today after this weekend.
Yeah, those Thursday, Friday, Saturday series, give you that off day on Sunday. So back in the office today, ready to start working on some game plans this week and get off to a good start with these midweek games.
Yeah, so before we look forward to the midweek games, let's look back to the Mississippi State series. To me, my big takeaway, extended middle relief, right? Whether it was Vittmeyer on Thursday night, Fontenot on Friday night, that was the key to LSU getting this series. What did you see out of Vittmeyer and Fontenot this weekend?
I couldn't agree more. And I think out of the two, obviously we got the win when Devin was in there on Friday. But I thought Vittmeyer's outing was probably the most important of the weekend. It really set the tone. Hess was struggling, and he comes in there and, eats up 3 2/3 of an inning, gets 3 strikeouts, doesn't give up any runs, keeps us right in that game to where they weren't able to run away with it and turn that into a 10-2 game, an 11-4 game. And we were right there at the end to win it. We just couldn't get the big hit. Had a couple of, opportunities with some of our better guys up with runners in scoring position down the stretch of that game. And, tip your hat to them. They brought in their closer, Cole Gordon, a little earlier than they probably would have liked to get an out in that 8th inning, and he threw a clean 9th inning. So, but what Trent did was really amazing and saved the bullpen, especially with a couple of arms down,
And so you mentioned the bats waking up. And yes, Vittmeyer protecting the pin was excellent. The pin was maybe the biggest point of separation between the two sides this weekend. Like Mississippi State frontline guys, yeah, really solid. But once you got a little deeper, they seem to struggle. But how about the bats, man? There was a lot of Ochinko talk, as there is after every poor performance. You want to fire the coach. That's just how it works. But this is the 17 strikeouts in game number 1. When you combine that with the slump they were in, people were very down. Then you go on to score 21 runs over the next 2 days. What was the key? Like what changed to kind of wake these bats up?
Listen, when you go into every game, you have a scouting report that you've put together, and you try to instill that plan into your hitters 1 through 9. That way everybody can attack, almost kind of turn it into football. Everybody's trying to attack in the same way. And even though it was small when he had, 10 punch outs in 5 innings, we got him out of that game. And
in the 5th, yeah.
The 5th. He did punch out 10, but if you look back at his starts, he had been throwing 78, 82% fastballs. And we were getting on that fastball and putting some good swings on it. Didn't have a lot to show for it, but hitting some balls right at some guys. He had to go to the breaking ball and the changeup, which is something that, he doesn't really like to do. He's got a really electric fastball. It's got a lot of, really a lot of kind of that ride through the zone where you have to really stay on top of it. So we made him kind of change up his plan. And then, Saturday with JT Ginn, a kid that went in the first round, turned down the money to go to Mississippi State. And, we had 9 hits off of him. And the big thing for him is, it's all sinkers and sliders. So everything's moving down in the zone. So you saw our guys do a good job of taking those pitches down in the zone, because even if you swing at that sinker down in the zone, most of the time it's just going to be a rollover to shortstop, or if you're left-handed, hit a rollover to second base. And we got him up in the zone, and we did some damage off of him. And, so really proud of the hitters, bouncing back, even though, on paper it looked like a bad performance on Friday. We made that guy do some things that he doesn't like to do.
Yeah, it's a fair point. I mean, chasing small after 5 innings, like you said, getting the hits off again. And then Sunday, I think a lot of people felt that maybe Sunday was the best opportunity, and the bats followed through on that opportunity. Also on Sunday, though, Eric Walker, 7 innings pitched, no runs given up, hitting 89 on the fastball again. It seems like this whole season for Walker has been building up to this moment. How much do you think it does for him personally, mentally, to go out there on that stage, rubber match against the second team in the nation, and kind of prove to himself, oh, you know what, I still can do this like I did 2 years ago. Maybe I can even do it better.
So often those Sunday games come down to, it's almost like a war of attrition between the arms. Who has what left? And it really comes down to who throws the most strikes. And if you look at that game, we walked 2 guys and they walked 6. They had 11 hits, we had 10, but we scored 11 runs because they walked 6 guys. Yep. So, that's why we feel so confident in Eric Walker, and especially doing what he did in 2017. And, he wanted to go back out there, especially after that rain delay that really wasn't much of a rain delay. We were sitting there for about an hour and a half, and most of the time there wasn't, a drop of rain coming down. And he went back out there and kind of hit a second wind there. I mean, the velo was actually better the second part of that outing for him. And you saw him moving that fastball in and out, getting a lot of swing and misses and pop-ups on that elevated fastball with 2 strikes. And really just pitched great, man. The changeup was good. The breaking ball took a step forward for him. So, this whole point, like you said, this whole point of the year, building him back up to get him to this point, for him to go out there and chew up 7 innings, 4 hits, 3 strikeouts, 91 pitches. I mean, that's what Eric Walker is, and hopefully he can bottle that up and keep it going.
So we're talking to Nolan Cain here on Off the Bench, and one of the other keys I think behind the hitting resurgence was another freshman that we never really talked about up until this point, C.J. Willis, man. So he comes in Thursday in the 8th. He gets the big RBI there, the big RBI double, later goes on to score. Then you'll give him the start at first base, games 2 and 3. He ends up with 5 ribbies on the weekend. Is C.J. Willis here to stay at first?
Well, listen, first and foremost, C.J. Willis is extremely talented. I mean, beautiful body, man, beautiful left-hand stroke, really athletic. He's a kid, slid back on a pickoff in high school baseball senior year, and first baseman fell on him and tore his labrum in his throwing shoulder. And don't get it twisted. That's the only reason he showed up at school. I mean, he was a $1 million player, probably a first 2 or 3 round pick, and really talented, can play some first, can play some left, came in as a catcher. We'll have to see how the arm bounces back coming off this labrum surgery. But, there was a point in the spring scrimmages where we thought CJ was going to be the guy. And I think it comes back to when you have really good players, competition is good. And Cade Beloso had won that job coming after after the final part of the spring scrimmages and the start he got off to. And, that's the thing is that's why defense is so important and being so versatile is, it gives guys opportunities. And, that's why kind of Cade got the nod there in the beginning, and CJ obviously working his way in there. Only so many guys can play first base or DH. It kind of comes down to where 3 or 4 guys are kind of competing for that position. And, he got a big pinch hit there and then scored a run with 2 outs right after that. And coach plugged him in there, and he just had really good at-bats and had some good at-bats off of some left-handed pitching and went 3 for 8 on the weekend, had 5 RBIs. So, he's extremely talented, and, we'll see as he continues to get at-bats if he's here to stay.
Yeah, man. I love seeing a guy make the most of the opportunity. It's actually a good lesson, too, for all the kids listening out there in the car. A lot of times, if you're buried on a depth chart, you kind of always hear about you got to stay ready, but it's real easy to just kind of feel like it's not real, right? Or just maybe be a bit lazy about it. But as C.J. Willis proves, like, all it takes, opportunity, just a little sliver needs to open up, and then you got to go make the most of it.
That's a big thing that you tell these young kids. Giovanni didn't get a lot of opportunities right there out the gate, but you tell those young players, man, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. And when your opportunity comes, especially with Coach Maneri, he's going to plug guys in there. You take advantage of it. It could be one of those things where you're Mikey Mottook and you never come out of the lineup ever again.
Nolan, I got a bunch of people asking. They want a pitching update. Jaden Hill, Landon Marceau, Chase Costello. What's kind of the outlook on for when they might be returning?
Well, they didn't travel with the team. Obviously, they stayed back here and got their rehab and some of the other doctors that our trainer uses throughout the week. And I think those guys are going to get out here over the next couple of days and play some catch and test some things and see how it's all going. I wouldn't expect an update from that. It probably to come from Coach Maneri, at some point today when he meets with the media and hopefully give a good, strong outlook. Again, we weren't in the office yesterday, so I don't have that much of an update for you on that.
And then what about Cabrera? Missing game 3 with, it seems to be some sort – I know it's like a lingering wrist issue. I heard he might be out to the A&M series. Any updates on Daniel Cabrera?
Yeah, it's just something he's been battling, and I think it's one of those things that stiffens up on him as the game goes along. And, I think after that, listen, Daniel Cabrera is not a kid that strikes out a lot, and he punched out 6 times over the 2 days. And I think he finally went to coach and said, hey, listen, I need to kind of give it a rest here. And, kudos for him for going out there and battling it and, trying to play through it as much as he can. But I don't think it's one of those things that I think he just needs some rest, maybe some sort of, treatment, something like that. And hopefully he's back out there for this weekend series against A&M.
Nolan Cain. LSU baseball coach, LSU baseball. Every time you think they're dead, every time you think it's too much, they come back. They totally redeem themselves. They get 2 of 3 off of Mississippi State.